I met a gypsy.
That's just character though, isn't it? That's why I wish we had more characters in our sport. Like, I feel like everyone's so scared to just be themselves in front of the media and the camera. Like they're just kind of a lot of squares in our sport, and not like there's nothing wrong with that, but like, dude, it like show your character, show your
If that's who
personality.
you
Like,
really are,
yeah, which is
if you really are a square, like Dunge, square, great fucking guy, super nice guy, square. Be that guy then.
yeah.
But then it's like if you're not that guy, but then you act like that guy, that's probably the disconnect you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Like when you're not, like everyone's just, it's so corporate now. They don't want to say something or do something that's going to get them in trouble. And that's where UFC and shit's so cool to watch, because they're all just talking shit. And like the difference is they have one fight and then they're done for a few months and then they have another, Supercross. If you were talking shit and then you got 20, you're talking shit on some guy, and then he just waxes you, then you got 29 races. Like it doesn't work like that. You don't want to talk shit on people. But what I'm saying is it's cool just to get, I just wish people would get outside their comfort zone and the box that they're in, and not worry about the consequences. But then again, I say that if they say something, then they get fined, or the team is on their ass and they say something, and then it's just, I just wish the sport was a bit more, the writers were just a bit more entertaining and exciting. Like, I think Kenny does a good job. I think, who else is there? I don't know. There's a few guys out there that like are kind of exciting and fun. Like, hey, I may not be fucking winning races or whatever, but like I'm myself on the camera or off the camera, I'm the same person. And I just think that's the little bit we're lacking in our sport, is a bit of personality.
Yeah, dude. I think that this show is showing that people kind of want to see a bit more of that. Like, people don't give a fuck that you're swearing in an interview on a pod. Like, what's that? Nothing's happened. Like, I think that we're like craving that shit in a sense, and like just for people to be able to like be themselves without being criticized or pulled apart. But I think that even it comes down to at the track, like they did the Super Poles at Melbourne, then you fucked that up too, by the way. You were on an absolute heater. Like,
I know,
are you serious, bro?
God.
One turn.
Fuck. I know.
You were killing it too. But so you were the only guy, right? So it's cool to talk about this with you, because you're the only guy that gave some kind of like emotion, and were like, you were hyping up the crowd and you were sort of like doing some shit.
Right.
I think that there's even like there's the off camera stuff, which I think is definitely getting a little bit better. I think like AP's doing his thing. Team Fry definitely helped.
Yep.
Bam's got his
he's
thing
getting
going.
better. He used to not be like that,
yeah.
Justin. And I feel like now it's obviously getting older, but he's like probably thinking, hey, I've made it this far. Like, I'm just going to be myself or whatever. Like, and another like one is, okay, Brock Tickle, right? I was teammates with Brock, but didn't really hang out with him too much. But you watch his interviews. Brock's one of my best friends. And you watch his interviews and he's like, dude, he literally sounds like he's on a recorder. Like, yeah, Monster Energy Pro Star Cows, and then that was it, done. And I'm like, damn, this guy, like, every interview
boring.
was just like so boring. And then I hung out with this guy. I'm like, is this even the same guy? And I was like, Brock, like, if you fucking showed like a bit of personality in that, like, now you got your merch. I mean, obviously he's not racing now, but like now you got your merch, and if you're not the fastest guy, why not at least like, look at how good Alex Reed does with his merch and stuff like that, and just promote yourself. And that's how like you get invited to these off-season races and stuff, because at the end of the day, they want to sell tickets to sell seats, right? Like, so they want, to come watch someone that they like and enjoy watching or whatever. So I don't know. I just think a lot of people, and that's one thing I've always been pretty good at, is I've always been good at saying what I want and not giving a fuck what anyone else thinks, right? Like, I don't care what you think. I've always spoke my mind, and I think people are always worried about what people are going to think or say. So that is one thing. Like, like, who gives a fuck? Who cares what they think? What's that going to change in your life, right? Like, who cares? You know, and like, it's funny, like, I'll get trolls here and there on my Instagram, like, just retire already. Okay, I'm going to retire. Like, with all due respect, if I'm not winning, I know I don't win races. I know I barely get top 5. I'm mainly a top 10 rider. Sometimes I don't even get top 10. I'm still making $500,000 each year. And and there's guys I'm battling with that sometimes are making double or triple more than me. But and then there's some guys that I'm the same speed as and are making way less than me, because like the way that I've built relationships with Rockstar and this and that, like, I've still done really well for myself.
Your merch, like,
right. Considering what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, for my results, I've done really well for myself, and I just think that's like, I know that, like, Rockstar Husky hired me, they didn't hire me to win races. Of course, we want to win races, but pretty much they hired me to be, hey, you top 5, we're ecstatic. Top 10, that's pretty much where you should be, and that was kind of like my deal. And
but basically, bring fans to the truck and be a guy that is like, be a team guy that brings people to this truck, gets people excited.
They had Jason.
You need to be Ando's guy.
Yeah, they had Jason, they had Zach. It was a 3-man team, so they had Jason and Zach. Those guys got paid the big bucks, so they expect you to be on the box, and I got paid a lot less than them, but I was still grateful to be on the team. And you know, then you add in your gear, your goggles, boots, blah, 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 blah. So, like, you know, I made it work really well for myself, and I had built such a good relationship with Rockstar. People would always message me, or not message me, like, comment, like, how the fuck is this guy still on factory team? Because I played my cards right. I have a good relationship with Rockstar. Who's the title sponsor of Husqvarna? Rockstar. So they had my back, and they're like, we want Dean on the team. I'm sure Husky were like, fuck.
Dean sucks.
Hey, you gotta play it right. And I was still, as long as I was like top 10, promoting the company well and being healthy, I was doing my job, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%. And I think that there's a line too where, and I think that Chase Sexton made me think about this because I think that you get a couple of different camps of riders, right? So you get a guy that is like, I just do this as a sport. Like, so I'm an athlete. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not a fucking media personality. That's cool. Like, you can kind of be that guy. But then there's also the guys that they understand that they're there to entertain people as well. Like, you're in a coliseum. So it's like, there's a sport, there's a winner, there's a championship, there's a title, but there's also the whole economy of this sport. Like, we don't just get the best dudes in the world and then put them in a field with no cameras and no one, just because we want to know who's best. Like, no one's like, just wants to get like the text of who went fastest and who got top 3. So it's like, this whole thing is like underpinned by this being like this entertaining thing to watch. And I feel like that's a balance that we always have to work on. And I feel like that's something that the riders have to always think about. It's something that the promoters have to think about. Like, I think that's a big difference between like Feld and WSX, is like how much of a show the WSX is in terms of like what they're trying to like create. But then it was really obvious to me in Superpole, especially, when they just worked so hard to have like this show, and then you have Superpole, and then the riders, it's like they finish their lap and then it's just like idle back to the fucking microphone, and then the next guy. It was, the entertainment value was like completely lost. And then I'm like, fuck, boys, like, someone for me, please, like, please, someone give me fucking hope that shows me that you guys even want to be there. Because it's like, dude, get on the,
like, rev the bike, get the crowd fucking fired up. Like, dude, people go to Paris Supercross just to see fucking Edgar Torrentino's fucking do his beatbox and shit. Remember that? I mean, like, you do like the helicopter flying out, it'd be like, and then like he'd beatbox. Yeah. And like, he was entertaining. Dude was 40 doing fucking heel clickers. Like, he's an OG of the sport. But like, it just like, I just played my cards right, and like, I knew my position. Like, I know that I wasn't going to be the winning guy. Like, I know that. Like, so when there's people talking shit to me on Instagram, most of the time I'll let it slide because it's whatever. Like, like I said, I'm raised by Andy Wilson. It takes a lot to get under my skin.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes I just want to fucking, I'm like, all right, I got time today, buddy. And then I'll just fucking, I'm just like laughing the whole time. I'm like, I'm going back and forth with this guy. Fucking, I'll click on his profile and then I'll
Roast
just like,
him on super
when I have
personal
time,
shit.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I have fun with it. Fuck it. But like most of the time, I just forget about it. But sometimes it just feels too good just to fucking jab the sword back at him, you know.
Oh fuck, dude! I do the same thing. Bro.
I
do the same thing.
love a bit of shit talking. You know what I mean? I love a bit of shit. I love a bit of shit talking. So
No, I feel you.
It's good. It's good banter.
But yeah, it's like if you got 40,000 people in some stands, get up and do some shit. You know, like have the people, and then like
Poor Joseph Allen just has the whole stadium on his back trying to hype them. He's like, is anyone going to help me out at all?
Yeah, bro, anybody, anyone. Dude, I actually think he did a fucking good job too. Shout out to Joseph Allen. Like he actually was on point through the, like in terms of like being the crowd guy. Like it was actually sick. But I think, yeah, the guys just for me, just take a little bit more, just fucking throw some hands up, rev some bikes, like, and be, you know, it's fun. Like you've earned this crazy spot on this roster of fucking freaks that get to travel around and visit these stadiums. And, you know, I think that's probably, you watch any Team Fried video, like outdoors Team Fried. I feel like that, just knowing that that Tom's there with that camera has brought out such like a different vibe in people as well. And it's like made people want to engage more. Like that's what we need. And then everyone starts to get looked at as like a Dino type guy, you know, because so I think one of the things that you said is kind of like an important point in this whole deal is that there's not everyone's going to win the fucking race, man. But like, that doesn't mean that you should retire. Like, so what, do we just have 3 dudes because we know who's going to kind of be on the box? Like to get points in an F1 race is 10th. And it's like, that's crazy. Right. Like that's a crazy achievement to get points, and it's like respected in that sense. But like, it just seems like with our sport, no one gives a fuck unless you're the dude that is like winning or second or third. But it's like, there's so much to offer, and you're still such an insanely good rider. Like that's some messaging I think that we've just got super wrong in a sense as well. But I think that, I mean, maybe it's like the fact that, like you said, you're making good money, but you know, you get a guy like a Phil Nicoletti or something that he's a dope dude. That was a super popular podcast for us. Like he's a guy that people really love, but when he's like fucking wearing old clothes, barely getting to the track, like, you know, there's not, it's just the vibe. It doesn't come across like a guy that is like, and I'm not talking about him personally, but like someone that's making 30 grand a year to race Supercross. Like the fans almost feel sorry for the guy instead of looking up to him. Like when you're a rider in a sport, like you want to like look up to dudes and you want to see him like killing it, not like, oh fuck, I make more than this poor dude.
Yeah, I love Phil. Phil's like, just like, he has so many fans. Goes back to the same old thing because he's just he's himself, right? Like he's the same guy in front of a camera or in front of his fans than he is when he's back at the pits or whatever. He's just, and it's funny, like everyone, you know, he is like the old grumpy guy, but he's like got the best heart and he's a good dude, and like he's just, but I love Phil for that. Like it's just funny. He's just always grumpy, but he's funny, and like he plays the part a little bit. You know, he's a really good dude, but like at least he's just fucking being himself, and I respect anybody that just like is not scared to be themselves. Like Bogle, even him, like, you know, like he raps and stuff, and like, dude, that's, I mean, hey, you ain't gonna catch me rapping, but you know, he's not scared, and I totally respect that. So yeah, I don't know, it's freaking tough to make it in this sport. And then, you know, I've been professional now for almost 15 years or something, and it's like, oh, man, it's gnarly. Like people want to talk shit and like, listen, motherfucker, I've been doing this for a while now. Like I didn't make it here by fucking around, you know what I mean? Like I really put in the work to get to where I am now. So like, it's just, it's just people always have something to say, but that's just part of it.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.